Y'all think I'm gonna miss the opportunity to jump on some Tailwind drama? Come on, you know better. So what's going on? Why is everyone talking about Tailwind? Well, to be honest, there isn't very much reason. What happened was a Tailwind fan made a tweet about how they break up large classes into smaller lines. I don't like the pattern they used, and it seems like a lot of other people didn't either. For those who don't know, I'm a pretty big Tailwind fan, but I did not start that way. I was staunchly anti-Tailwind when I first saw it. It looked like all the worst parts of Bootstrap and way more work on top of it. Why would I ever want that instead of just CSS? Well, it turns out once you figure out Tailwind syntax and start to understand the design system underneath it, you end up moving so much faster. Some of my coworkers really wanted to use Tailwind for a project, and I didn't initially. And after about a week of them pushing it and me getting my feet wet, I ended up really liking it. When I saw how well the Tailwind team understood styles, CSS, and my needs as a developer, it became an obvious thing to reach for so many projects that I work on, including all of Ping now, and obviously the T3 stack. That doesn't mean that Tailwind solves every problem for every dev, but it does mean that a lot of the Tailwind haters haven't used it enough to realize they might actually become huge Tailwind fans. I think that's a huge part of where the divisiveness comes from. There's a lot of enthusiasts that see ourselves in these Tailwind haters and want to try and convince them over the hump. And on the occasions where a Tailwind fan runs into problems and wants to ask for help, their attempts to start conversations around how to do things better in Tailwind get flipped into conversations about how Tailwind is evil and ruining web dev. I would say that at least 70% of the devs who push back on it haven't gotten over that usability hump and haven't hit that flow where you really feel the benefit of Tailwind. And even after years of styled components and SCSS and almost a decade of CSS experience, I personally had never felt as fast as I did after 1 week of Tailwind. Do you know what was worse than 10 years of CSS? Recording this video 6 times. I can't believe I have put all this effort in and you still haven't hit the sub button. How are you this far in? How have I put this much effort in? And less than half of y'all are subscribed still. Subscriptions are free. Really want to hit 100K and get that plaque already. Anyways, Chance from the Remix team proposed a way to write inline CSS that compiles 2 Tailwind classes that then compiles into Tailwind CSS. That looks interesting. I don't think it's for me at all, but it shows how much even CSS lovers that don't want to leave behind their favorite syntax are recognizing the wins of Tailwind. Even just the way it bundles CSS is so much better than most solutions. All of that said, there's a lot of style solutions now, and a lot of them are really cool and bring a lot of value to the developers using them. Tailwind's become a norm for a reason though. Utility classes. To me, they feel like inline CSS with less steps and problems, especially the way Tailwind does it, with their limited set of well-chosen classes that are picked to go well with each other. All of the padding numbers that are available, all of the colors that are available, pretty much everything in the system is meant to work well together. So it's hard to design yourself into a hole where everything doesn't match or there are colors varying all over the place. You can do it, but it's much more work and usually requires those brackets. There are clear benefits to the way Tailwind has built things, both in their design system aspect and in the actual technical performance of Tailwind. And on top of all of that, the developer experience is best in class. It really is a level up in almost every regard, and I haven't found anything that comes close. The demand for Tailwind syntax is growing every day. That's why we see things like Uno CSS, Windy, and T-Wind all popping up, because people love the syntax and want to use it in different places in different ways. There's also things building around Tailwind syntax like class variance authority, focused on making it easier to make complex design libraries with lots of different design states on a given element, easier to manage by grouping the classes. It's not my thing. There's a great Mewtwo video about that. I'll be sure to link that in the description if you want to build a proper design system within your code bases using Tailwind instead of CSS as the core. I think it's a phenomenal path. I'm just not as interested in that chaos. Long class names aren't that scary. A lot of the weird things I saw on Twitter scare me though. Sorry, my take on the drama is Tailwind is not that dramatic, but generally Tailwind's boring in all the right ways. And I think that the drama comes from an aversion to the syntax more than anything. Give it a shot if you haven't. Really try and get yourself over that hump, because when you do, the experience is unmatched. Subscribe if you still haven't for some reason. It helps us out a bunch. And YouTube seems to think you're going to like the video here. I haven't watched that one in a while, but if I recall, it was pretty good. YouTube wouldn't put it there otherwise. So why aren't you watching it yet? Come on. Why are you still here? Peace, nerds.